Cheers, everyone. It's Friday, and we are in the Jam Happy Hour coming at you live from the Wine and Music Studio in downtown Napa. And I am enjoying our beautiful dry rosé, which comes out of this beautiful bottle right here. Oops. And I am very excited to welcome our featured artist today. She is a soulful electro jazz solo artist coming at us from Sonoma County, and her name is Eki Shola.
Hi.
Hello, how's it going?
Good, TGIF.
Yes, TGIF. I mean, that brings back memories of being a kid.
I know, right?
Absolutely. Well, before we kind of introduce you, can we hear some of your amazing music?
Of course.
Yeah, let's kick this off.
All right.
Cheers.
Longing never leave. We ask why you why. One more hug, one more kiss. You'll be forever missed. Sorrow comes and goes. Sorry for the times never promised. My mind is going crazy when it's time for bed. But thankful for no words left unsaid. The dreams will flood you out. The screams will choke you down. You can't breathe. Don't let it hold you back. Why does it seem like struggle is to fall? How to live moments of bliss. We want to be happy all the time. Instead, let's create a positive state of mind. A dream will flood you out. The screams will choke you down. You can't breathe. Don't let it hold you back.
love it. Love
you.
it. That was amazing.
Thank you.
I read on your Facebook page that you wrote that you create live chill out with a slice of soulful jazz electronica.
Yeah, something like that, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. You tell me.
I mean, it's amazing. How would you define your music and where do you get your inspiration for your songs?
You know, I've been on this journey for sort of the music professional journey, like 3 years now. And initially I would rack my brain as to like, what genre do I fit in? And it was like killing me because it's like you have to have your niche and your brand and, your categories. And now I don't bother with that. And literally,
Right.
it's up to the listeners to how they want to interpret it and how it makes them feel. And, I was classically trained as a kid. We all, three of us siblings, my brother and sister and I had to take piano lessons. And that's the base, that's the foundation. But then I got exposed to jazz in undergrad, auditioning for the jazz ensemble. And I was like, oh, what is this? Because that was not really what we grew up on, interestingly. So,
What did you grow up on?
well, both my parents were musicians. Dad was is a drummer, guitarist, singer. My mom was a pianist and an organist, and she also sung.
Lovely.
And so there's always music, at home. We listened to a lot of reggae, old school reggae, ska, Tosh, Marley, Aswad, so many. And that's my heritage. My parents are Jamaican. So that was always there. And then rock, like
Yeah.
Bob Dylan, Tom Petty, so bad of names, but, Crowded House,
Yeah?
Queen.
Oh, yeah.
So that was always playing. And no gospel, not really any R&B or soul. So
So you
and
just
then
kind
some
of created
classical.
your own vibe, your own sound.
Yeah, just and I'm it's just what's coming out. I'm not intentionally saying let me try to create XYZ, but it's just what feels right in the moment.
I love it. Someone in the
Yeah.
comments wrote that you're giving them some Nina Simone vibes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's high honors. It's the high priestess of soul, I think. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, she's
Thank
amazing.
you. Speaking of Nina, I mean, I can't believe I kind of discovered her later in life, but there was a show through Social Distance Live that I did a few months ago. It's covers. And I don't know many covers, but I did learn one of her songs.
Oh, wow.
And I did my own rendition of it. And it was just her voice, her message is just so rich, so strong.
Absolutely.
Powerful vibes.
Well, you yourself have your own really beautiful message with your music and your vibe and just kind of what you're putting out there.
Thank you.
Your life, I guess, as a musician was kind of sparked by tragedy,
Right.
sort of, in two facets, really. The first with your mother's death, or mother's passing, and then the second being the 2017 fires.
Right.
Do you mind kind of sharing a little bit about that with us?
Not at all. So take you back to 2011, May, June, I think June. That's when my second daughter, I have two kids, son and a daughter, and I was pregnant with my little one. And I remember maybe a few weeks before she was due, just kind of this unsettling feeling, like something was off, something didn't feel quite right. And I didn't know what it was, but it was probably about 2 weeks before birth. And then I had a C-section because she was breech. And, took her home, beautiful girl, healthy. And then, 2 weeks later, found out from my dad that my mom was ill. She had a growth in her stomach. They didn't know what it was, so she was going to have surgery. So I took my daughter with me on the plane from California to New York. And I was afraid that when I went to go board the plane, they're looking at me like, how old is she? Like, she's like, only 2 weeks, And they let us on. And here I am, and, not supposed to do any heavy lifting with C-section. So I was wheeled on in a wheelchair, airport helpers helped me with my bags. And I was there with my mom. And we found out we were, I think, I forget where we were, me and my dad. But I remember him reading the results to me. And I was like, oh boy,
Mm.
that's not good.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, she had cancer. It was a very rare and aggressive form of cancer.
Mm.
So between that time, June 2011 to 2012, I went back and forth from California to New York, took off time from work, and pretty much towards the end, we stayed with my mom, moved back home with her to help take care of her. My sister took time off from, she was in medical school, I believe, and she took time off, so I was helping her also. And my brother came out. And then she passed in January 2012, 6 months later.
Wow, fast.
It was very fast, very fast.
Mm-hmm.
And it was incredibly hard because it's like you're almost grieving from the beginning because,
Mm-hmm.
you know, her, like I said, her prognosis was not good and it never responded to anything. But we still remained hopeful. But, you know, I remember after she passed, we were planning her memorial, my siblings and I, and we were upstairs in, you know, my old child bedroom. I found my old keyboard. My dad like found some drums. My brother had his bass, and my sister had her violin, and we like jammed for like I don't know 2-3 hours straight.
Nice.
And it was like the most cathartic and like just most like transformational moment. And that was when I was like, I have to do music.
Nice.
And
Okay.
that was the pivot point.
Great. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. And so I'm
Yeah.
sure your mother would be so proud of everything you've accomplished.
Yeah, I hope
Yeah.
so.
Can we maybe play a song for your mom?
We can.
Cool.
The one that I actually just played was in her honor. So that
Oh,
was
that's
called
oh,
Trapped.
that's amazing.
Yeah,
It's great.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
that was in her honor. So, and you know, I hated to practice piano
Oh, did you?
as a kid.
Yeah.
My dad, like, he doesn't play piano, but he would like sit on the bench next to us and be like, "Okay, you know, let's go." I mean, it was like torture.
Yeah.
They didn't let us quit, and I'm like so glad that they didn't.
Parents do know best sometimes, right?
Yeah, sometimes.
I love it. Well, before we kind of break into more of the second part of that story with the 2017 fires, do you mind playing another tune for us?
I would love to.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, love to. This song I wrote about 2 summers ago after going to the Grand Canyon for the first time with my family. And I think that's probably the first time I've ever been to a national park before. And that day we went on a guided tour and we didn't get to see much, but the stories that our tour guide shared with us um, made up more than enough than what we didn't see. And that day I learned incredibly a lot. He shared of us like his stories and his connection to the land. And what struck me the most with Ben was just this reverence and this level of forgiveness and respect for others, despite all that his people, the Paiute people, had endured and continue to endure, the struggles and the hardships and the discrimination. And that tour was just incredibly moving. Like he spoke and we were just all hushed for a few hours. And I was just very moved to write this song in gratitude of what he taught me that day. So this goes out to Ben.
Love it. Amazing.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And cheers to you and cheers to everybody watching. So, for those just tuning in, we are coming at you from the Wine and Music Studio. I'm Coco and we're with Eki Shola. So, cheers and welcome. And if you want to get your own vino to sip on, be sure to head to our website, jamcellars.com/buy. All right, so Eki, before that song, which was beautiful,
Yes.
by the
Thank
way,
you.
we had mentioned kind of the trigger to your next few albums, I guess. It's a trilogy that you put together.
Right. Right.
Do you mind kind of sharing that story with us
Of
and what happened
course.
on that fateful evening, I guess?
Yeah, for
Unforgettable
sure.
evening.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, so were you in town?
I was,
You
yes.
were.
I absolutely was.
Oh
Yeah.
man. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I always forget the dates. Either it was October 8th or 7th. It's like a blur, but
It was the 8th.
it was the 8th, right?
It was the
Yeah.
8th, yes.
Okay. So the night before, my family and I, we went to the Hardly Strictly Bluegrass Festival in
So
the city.
fun. Yes.
Totally fun. It was like, stage hopping and just having a really good time with our friends. And yeah, it was good. So we came back and probably like around, 8 o'clock, we got back. And I remember we put the kids to bed. They were, I guess, 6 and 9 at that time. And around 9:30, 10, I remember looking outside and it was just like beautiful red, right? Like red behind me. And I was like, oh, I didn't really think much of it. Just kind of, I don't know, gorgeous red, right?
Right.
And then, around 10 o'clock or so, the kids couldn't sleep and they came into our bedroom, which was kind of odd because they weren't really doing that at that point. But they couldn't sleep. I said, okay, fine. And then I remember it was smelling smoky a little bit, which I brushed off because where we were kind of in the country and a lot of people have wood burning stoves. So we figured that was it. But the bedroom started to feel warmer and that was like odd, middle of October. And I was like, oh, should I turn the AC on? I'm like, no. So then around 11 o'clock, I remember my phone pinged and I look at it, got a text from a friend, and she said, are you okay? And I'm thinking, why wouldn't I be? And I, go back to respond to her, but I have no service. And also then I realized the power was out. So it's like, huh, strange. And it's like, how many signals do you need, right? Like, but when you've never, experienced that before, you
Yeah.
just, I didn't connect the dots. So then the baby, the 6-year-old was like, I hear something. And I was like, what? And she said, you heard like a bump. So I said, okay, stay here. I'll go look. So I go to the back of the house towards where my studio was in the garage. And I hear the smoke alarm going off.
Huh.
But I couldn't reach it because it was pretty high up. So then I went back to try to wake up my husband, and he looks outside, through the blinds, and it's bright red. He's like, "Oh, go back to bed. It's sunrise."
Oh my
It's like
God.
2 a.m. now, right?
It's sunrise. Yeah. Yeah. Oh
So
man.
then I heard the kid say, "Mom, Mom, the garden is on fire." And I'm like,
Oh.
"What the?" So I run to the kitchen where they are, right? And the back doors are made out of glass. I looked out, and there were just rings of fire in the garden. And then it looked like somebody was just like throwing like fireworks off the roof of the home. And then that's when it freaking hit me, right? And I was like, oh my gosh. So I was like, okay, grab your shoes. And I remember my laptop was like a few feet away from me. And I had, 3 albums worth of music on there, unreleased.
Oh man.
And I was like, oh, do I get it? I was like, I'm not even going to risk it. So I ran into my closet, tried to grab something to put on. And then I just kind of collapsed on the floor. And I was just like, this is it. We're not going to make it.
Oh wow.
And it felt like an eternity. And then I said, no, we are. And I got up and I went downstairs. My son couldn't find his shoes in the dark, so just said, forget them. And we got in the car. And where we lived, we had a very long down sloping driveway. So we got into the car, and as we drove up the driveway, we realized we were barricaded in from trees and branches that had, blocked the path. So then my husband gets out and he clears everything out. And then we get in the car and we drive up to the surface of the road. And we lived in a cul-de-sac. And pretty much I think half of the homes were already burned down and the rest were already burning.
Oh my goodness.
And we looked left, there was more fire. And we looked to the right, there was less fire. And we drove through that for about 7 minutes straight on a very narrow, windy road with no barriers. And we're in the car and you're starting to smell the smoke coming in. And I have asthma, my son has asthma. And I felt like I was in an apocalyptic movie. And it was just like, I was in shock. I was just like, just let us get through. Just let us get through. And we drove. And I've gone back since and timed that drive. It's about 7 minutes. And it was all fire, you couldn't see anything. It was just gray smoke and wildlife deers running across the road.
Poor little animals.
I know. That's what I thought. Yeah. And then, we got through. And that night we drove to Oakland, where my sister lives. We stayed with her for a week till we drove her crazy. And then we stayed at different hotels for the next 5 weeks because, and we were out in the city. We were all over just trying to find a hotel because they all booked up super quick. And I think, it took me, I was still in shock. I remember going to work, I think the fire was Sunday. I went to work the next day or something in the city, and it was just crazy. And I realized, probably, halfway through our hotel stay, I was like, I needed an outlet. I needed something. I needed my music. And the first thing I bought was a laptop. And I just started making beats and making songs. And, a good friend of mine called me. And he was like, we're putting on a benefit concert for first responders. Are you in? And I'm like, sure. And I had nothing to play. But I was like, I just started to write.
Great.
And it was a really wonderful show. And that led to me joining some other musicians where we did a compilation album to raise funds for other people who lost their instruments in the fire, particularly kids. And we did that, which was really, really wonderful. So, so music has helped me immensely, during both of these really traumatic experiences.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so this kind of sparked the trilogy that you created. So you essentially have 3 albums a part of this trilogy.
Right.
And the first one is called, it's I'm Possible or Possible?
It's supposed to be impossible with the I am crossed out.
So okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Love that. And so with that album, you can you tell us what that album for you symbolizes? And
Sure.
And then maybe can we hear a song from that album?
Yeah.
Great.
So it took probably a couple of months for me to get the courage to go back to the house. And I tried and I just couldn't do it. And when I finally did, the garage was still, the outside structure was still standing, and it looked incredibly beautiful. I have a video online and you can see it, but it looks like it was just completely graffitied. And I remember walking around the garage to kind of where my studio was, and a shape caught my eye, and I'm like, what is that? And I walked up closely and I saw this.
Oh.
The heart.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I was like, that's going to be the cover of my next album. And I just took the picture with my iPhone, but this is the garage, and the other side of it was where my studio was. And it was just kind of this, confirmation that things were going to be okay, and that we would get through it. So, and I don't think I was at the stage at that time, but now it's sort of like I feel like there's a gift from grief, whether it's from my mom's passing and what I've learned and how it's strengthened me, and same with the fires,
Mm.
which has really kind of sparked a flame for me to really follow my heart and change course
Yeah.
in terms of my dreams. So this was about making do with what you have. I thought to myself, am I going to recreate all these songs? I was thinking like, it's a lot of songs. So instead what I did was I just kind of asked all my friends and family that who I'd sent little snippets of music to. And I said, send them back to me, please. And so
Yes.
there were like samples, and I built entirely new songs around them.
Oh,
And
amazing.
yeah, and it was very hard, but also it was just very different than the way I normally write, and it pushed me out of my comfort zone, which was good. Hello, my 12-year-old. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, that's possible.
Possible. Love that.
Yeah, and
Love it.
I didn't intentionally set out to write a trilogy, but when I was writing the music, I realized that they represented sort of the different phases of healing that I was going through.
Mm-hmm.
So the first album was about kind of being in this survival mode of just getting through with it all, whether it's throwing yourself back into work or doing all the insurance crap and
All the fun
all
stuff.
of that stuff. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was sort of that, which I'm happy for, because I think if I had really stopped to really reflect the heaviness of it, I think I would have crumpled.
Yeah.
But, the next phase was more this, I just had this yearning to just be at home, and I didn't know where home was. Was it London where I was born and grew up, or was it New York where I later moved to? New York City? Was it Santa Rosa?
Yeah.
And I found myself like being drawn to just the comforts of childhood. So I was like ordering like random kid books from Amazon and finding myself cooking old favorite dishes that my mom used to cook, and
Nice.
just this nostalgia. And that's what the second album, Drift, represented.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then the third and final one, Essential, was written during a time where I just felt that I need to really vocalize more with lyrics, and that I had stuff to say. And it was I was wrapping up the album, and then boom, March comes along, and I'm like, oh, I got more stuff to say now with the pandemic,
Yeah.
shutdown,
God.
physician advocacy, Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
And like, I ran out of physical space for the CD. Otherwise, I would have kept on adding more songs.
You can do a part
But
2.
Part 2, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the trilogy. Yeah.
I love that. Okay,
So,
amazing. Well, I'd love to hear one of the tunes from, maybe can we hear one from Possible?
Let's see. The thing with me, to be honest, is like I write them and then I forget them and move on.
Okay, well, we can hear it from any song in the trilogy that you want to share.
My mind is like flying over it. Yeah, let me play you one from the latest album.
Essential.
Yes, this is. Is this on Essential? It might be. I don't even know. It's a song. Anyway,
It's a good song.
Yeah. This is
Love it.
one of the first songs I did right after the fires. So that would
Great.
probably be on Possible, or it's a single. It's called Dreaming.
Okay, sounds good.
No time to say bye, but giving thanks. Trying to find peace of mind. The world spins you around. But don't let her pull you down. I am who I am. You are who you are. Ashes down on the ground surround me. When love and connection sets us free, community together, one becomes we. I'm dreaming of a new start. The light shine from the heart. Sun rises, life flows on. Memories healing, but never gone. Loss turns to meaning and gain. Resiliency is a tough bliss. Rising out of the fire, sailing through with hope and desire. Oh, I'm dreaming of a new start. Let light shine from the heart. Sun rises, life flows on. Memories healing, but never gone.
Amazing. And what was the name of that song again? Dreamin'?
That is, yeah, dreaming.
Love it, love it. And so cheers to you and cheers to everybody watching. And don't forget, you can get your own jam wine, butter, or jam, or candy. Talked about candy a little bit earlier. All the good stuff on our website at jamsellers.com. And if you're enjoying the tunes today by Eki, which are amazing, be sure to send her a little love and send her a tip over to her PayPal, paypal.me/Eki Shola. Now, Eki, I actually saw you perform live a couple of years ago, back in 2018, at Lagunitas for their Tiny Desk tour.
Right.
How did that come about? How did that, like, did you have to submit a song and enter, and then can you tell us about that?
Sure. So every year, NPR Music puts out the NPR Tiny Desk competition. And I think I first found out about it in 2016. It may have been the first or second year that it started, I think. But essentially, it's open to anyone in the country. You submit a song, video, an original song video, and there has to be a tiny desk in the video. This is like always the hardest challenge for me. I've entered it like 4 times now. And so people get super creative, and a bunch of my friends have entered, and it's so cool to see their entries too. But it's super competitive. Like,
I I saw that there
Oh,
was like 6,000 people that entered or something.
right. And one winner.
Wow.
So it's tough. So it was this huge honor when they reached out to me and asked me to open for the 2018 winner, Naya Azumi. And it's
Yes.
so cool. I got to meet Bob Boylan and got to meet some great groups that night.
Mm-hmm.
And generally, the winners do really well. Like, they go on to win Grammys and whatnot. The last few groups that have won, they do really well. So you really get catapulted to the next level.
Cool.
And there's a lot of great talent in that they get. So
That's so fun. And
yeah.
are you a fan of the Tiny Desk?
I am. I just
It's so
love
cool.
NPR in general. But
Yeah.
yeah, the Tiny Desk is cool. I mean, check them out. They just feature such a wide range of artists. It's, incredibly diverse. Even like when you listen into like, NPR's radio shows, like the little snippets of music in between. I'm like, oh my God, like who is that? Like,
Yeah.
it's really neat.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
hmm
And so you've also been doing quite a few live streams and
hmm
kind of like live concerts. Um,
yes.
can you tell us a little bit about that and what you've experienced with all that?
Sure. Right now, I am on my essential virtual tour.
Nice.
So, I mean, the pandemic is rough. Don't get me wrong. It's really hard being on shutdown, trying to handle distance learning with my kiddos and
Oh
trying
yeah.
to, do music. But there's so many opportunities to connect globally,
Yeah.
which is phenomenal. I mean, I've been playing for audiences in Japan, London, Ireland,
Wow.
all over, and people are finding me and connecting from overseas, and so it's just great. It really has been, and so part of what I've been doing is like, okay, I've got to get creative. Like, how can I, continue? So I've been just playing around. First, it was like, Facebook live streaming, and then I was like, okay, I think I can do this. And then just reaching out to many places. So I'm playing at Cornell virtually coming
Awesome.
up,
Very
and
cool.
St. Joseph Health, part of their series, and playing in New Hampshire virtually coming up. So
Nice.
it's a
That's
lot of
so
cool stuff.
fun.
It's a great time to think outside the box. So
I mean, it's really, you got to find the silver lining in all of this.
you do, you
And I think a
do.
lot of people are kind of just like reassessing what's important to them. And
Exactly.
I think that's something that, you know, that you've kind of highlighted with your music, that
Right.
crisis makes you kind of realize your purpose and kind of helps you
It does.
refocus that, which is kind of fun.
It does. And I mean, like when I sorry, I had the reverb on. When I came when I had the chance to go back to the property after it burned, that's kind of when it hit me, because it was like, all right, now I'm out of a music studio. I
Mm,
was at the time writing as a freelancer and writing from home. I
mm.
was seeing patients from home because I'm also a physician. I was doing telemedicine,
Oh, wow.
and I was working at a federally funded clinic, and all of them got destroyed. The clinic was destroyed in the fire, my home office. So I was like,
Ah,
okay, now what? And, I had been thinking, I was having trouble balancing music and medicine. I was doing medicine full time. Oh, and my husband and I also had a restaurant too. And,
oh,
and then,
really? What was
yeah,
the restaurant?
we did have, it's called Revive
Oh,
Cafe and Scoop Bar. It was in Sebastopol.
right on.
So, but
Okay.
we closed that right before the fires.
Okay.
But so there was a lot to handle, and I was just like, how can I do more music? Like, I was using all my. I remember, I think one of my supervisors was really worried about me because I
Oh.
used up all my vacation time really quickly,
Hmm.
and so she was just checking in on me,
Mm.
and I was like, I'm fine. I just kind of used it all on flying to Seattle to record. So
Oh, wow.
so it was hard to juggle everything, but when half of those choices were taken away from the fire, then I was just like, all right, music.
And it's
So
amazing. I mean, music really like helps bring people together. It helps to heal. I mean, it's just it's
yes,
so wonderful.
it
So,
is. It is. The
yeah,
arts in general.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So thank
Yeah.
you for sharing your beautiful music with us.
You're
Do
welcome.
you have another wonderful song to share?
I do.
Yeah?
So this one is
Great.
called Incubation.
Okay.
And so where this came out was, so I've been preparing like for months before the Tiny Desk contest. And I was nervous. Normally, I mean, in the beginning, I used to get nervous a lot, and then it kind of petered out. But then I was really nervous about this, like to the point, like right before I was going on stage, one of my girlfriends said, "Let's do a quick meditation," and she did like this 5 minute meditation, like off stage,
Hmm.
and I was like, "Ooh." And then I stepped up on stage. I looked out. I froze for a second, and then it was just like I played the person out, and it was just like, that's it. I was zoning.
Love. I love
And
that.
yeah, it was just a magical night. Like the lights were twinkling and people were talking at the end, and I love that part, the connection with people. Like
Yes.
after I play, I love that. And I remember going home. I got home late, and then went to bed. I don't know, 4 a.m. or something, and then I have to adjust this. And then the next day, it was just like, now what? Right? Like when you work yourself up, you're planning for something big, and then it's done, and then it's like your energy goes from like here to here.
Hmm.
And that, I kind of just was like in a funk, and then it's just like the funk rolled into like a day, and then a few days, and then weeks.
Oh,
And I'm like, what is going on? And I was emailing for gigs and just trying to connect to people, and like nothing was happening, Coco. It was just like, I
it
was
was
like,
the
how can
vibe, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so I said to myself, well, okay, well, maybe this time is kind of telling me to do something I should be doing. And instead, I just used that time to mix my next album.
Great.
And it was perfect. And so I said to myself, well, and once I flipped that mindset of like stagnation to incubation, that's when the magic started to happen and things started to flow again. So
Great. And that's
this
when
is
the
called,
gigs started coming back, when you kind of allowed it to come
yeah.
in.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. After I did
Love
the
that.
work. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I'm
So
excited to hear it.
yeah. Incubation. Seems like nothing is happening. Running low after a high. Ignore the struggle and wait it out. 'Cause there'll always be another try. Incubation. 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 Demons inside tell you there's no flow. Inspiration not feeling right. Creativity you think is all gone. Nah, can't always be at peaks high. Incubation. 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 Yeah. Rest your voice, be still. Sit in the presence of your magnificence. A beautiful aura and self-reassurance. Life has so many lessons. Incubation. Coast of emotions up high in the sky. Down, control forever goes. Yeah. Reunification of all your dreams. Beautiful. My oh my. Incubate. Incubation, incubation.
Woo! Love it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, I know that quarantine has kind of had us all staying at home and reaching for those comfort foods and whatnot, and or for the wine. And offline, you and I were talking about our sugar sweet wine, which is our sweet wine right here. It's called Sugar. And you mentioned that you love eating cookies and sweets. What are some of your favorite sweets to enjoy?
So, I've been on this chocolate chip peanut butter like crave. Like, I just started exercising like March, April, and found this wonderful online, workout program. And like, I would be literally baking cookies during, when they tell you to take sips of water.
Yeah.
I'd like, okay, shove the cookies in, and then they're ready when I'm done with the workout.
Perfect.
So,
yeah, that's the best.
So, yeah, that didn't work. And like 9 months of exercising, the weight just started going up. So I actually switched to, I did this vegan challenge that I found out online through Twitter. And it's called the 100,000 Black Vegan Woman Challenge. And I did it was September, October, and I loved it. So I'm still doing it. And so, yeah, you can make some really good vegan desserts.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I love it. So what's been your favorite dessert that you've made?
I would have to say I have two of them. One of them is the chocolate cake. It's this rich, gluten-free, vegan chocolate cake. You would never know.
Yum.
You would never know. It's just, I love it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. You're making me hungry. I'm gonna go seek out a vegan chocolate cake after this.
What has been your go-to during this?
Oh my goodness. I love, I'm a big Oreo fan, so I eat double stuffed Oreos. They're vegan too.
Yes, they are?
I don't know. I think
Maybe.
so. Maybe they're gluten free. No, they're not gluten free. I think they're vegan. I'm pretty sure I think so.
The black ones or the yellow ones? Which
No,
ones?
I only do the chocolate.
The chocolate ones. Okay.
With the white. Yeah, I'm a purist.
Okay.
Just give me my double stuff, Oreos, all the way. So I definitely have I always have double stuff Oreos in my house.
Those are good.
It's my go-to.
Oh, Emily says they are vegan. Oh,
yes.
Sweet. All right.
Absolutely. So that's been my go-to. So like Oreos and wine and French fries,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, well, it's been such a pleasure having you on. We have time
Thank
for one
you.
more song, and then,
Cool.
yeah, so do you mind playing one last one to kind of close us
I
out?
would love to.
Thank
Oh
you.
my, which one is this gonna be? All right.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun. This one I'm gonna end with actually it's called Grounding. And was it last month? Well, what are we? We're in December now, so I guess October. Where we're living now, we're renting now in a different part of town, and again we got evacuated, and our neighborhood actually did catch on fire. There were some properties that were lost, and I remember as we were escaping in the car, and what would normally take like 1 minute to kind of get out took 45 minutes just because everything on Highway 12 was so backed up. And so in the car and we're not moving at all. And I looked in the side mirror and I could see the flames advancing towards us. And I started to panic. I was just like right back to 2017 triggered, right? And so I was just, yeah, I just couldn't breathe. And then I said to myself, wait a minute. I know a skill that I learned because I had taken a resiliency mindfulness training class and I used it. And like within a minute, I took myself from hair anxiety down back to just baseline, and panic attack never came back. So it's called Soft Belly, and I just want to quickly share it with you. And maybe you want to practice it during the last song that I play. Essentially, you're in put yourself in a very quiet space. Maybe even not quiet if you don't have the quiet around you, but just if you can sit still and you can sometimes place your hand on your belly. It's called soft belly, and it's just literally taking a deep breath in and letting your belly rise outward, and then deep breath out and letting your belly come back in. And just doing those soft belly movements, soft breathing for a few minutes each day if you can. You'll find a significant difference. At least I did. And the reason why it works is because we have a nerve in our body called the vagal nerve, and it runs throughout our body. And when it's innervated or triggered by deep breathing, it actually causes a decrease in heart rate. So if you were having palpitations before, that will drop down and lessen. And also when that nerve is triggered by deep breathing, it lowers your blood pressure. So physiologically, it does also help too. So there you go. So this last song is called Grounding. And thank you all very much for being here. And thank you to Jam for having me tonight. Da, da, da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 yeah. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, da, da. Yeah, da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Ah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't forget to breathe.
Woo! Love that. That was a great way to end the show. What a beautiful song. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks to everybody for joining us. And again, you can find our jam wines, our beautiful butter, which is such a big hit, at jamsellers.com/buy. And of course, if you enjoyed the show, please support Eki and hit up her PayPal and show her some love. So cheers, everybody, and cheers to you, Eki. So thank you so much.